Yo, what is good, guys? Harry here, and today I'm going to be talking about how I scaled this streetwear brand to over 100,000 in sales in literally a couple of months working with them. So as you can see here, we spent 57,400, and let me just add it up. So a little hack for you guys: if you want to see the attribution at the bottom, ever since the update, it doesn't come up. So what you've got to do is see where it says attribution setting, create that as a column on your ads manager, and then click here, and then take off any that don't say 7-day click or 1-day view attribution, because there you go. So you see now all of them are the same, and you can filter by selection, and then there you have it at the bottom. So 40,000 spent, and then 120,000 made back in sales. So yeah, over 100,000, sorry. And we're scaling this ad account hopefully to 7 figures this year over Q4, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So I'm just crack on and tell you how we did it. So the first thing we did was actually export a customer CSV from Shopify. This is because it was a fresh ad account and we didn't have any data on the pixel. So we wanted to create some lookalikes of the best customers. So what we did is go into Shopify and download anyone who's purchased from your store. And as you can see there, we spent 5,000 on that so far. We spent on another campaign, we spent, don't know where it is. Hold on a second. See customer CSV. So yeah, that worked well straight away, which was really good because with the whole iOS 14.5 update, I believe the customer CSVs are working better than the pixel lookalikes, so like your purchase, your add to cart, because on this ad account specifically, look, the add to cart and the purchase lookalikes just didn't work that well. We haven't tested them that much, but I kind of wrote them off just because I was like, there's just not enough data for them to work. So yeah, that's definitely something you guys should test out on your ad account, is using the customer CSVs and compare them to your lookalike audiences of your pixel, because some of them might work better than others. So for the majority of how I'm running ad accounts now, it's a simplified structure. Facebook is quite automated nowadays. So I've literally got retargeting, creative testing campaign, and then CBOs. So what I'm going to hop into now is the creative testing campaign and run you through the different creatives that we are running and how I'm running the ad sets within. As you can see here, how I set it up is I tested the best audiences that have worked in the past. So typically in streetwear and clothing brands, I see kind of, Hypebeast, Supreme, vintage clothing, streetwear is a broad audience. All these audiences were very broad, and that's how I'm kind of running my campaigns at the moment, because it means the ad account is much more simplified, and also you can scale quite quickly because obviously the audience sizes are so big. You don't run out of audience, which you could do with a smaller sized audience. So when I was testing creatives, firstly, how I set it up was one ad set, one creative. I don't have multiple creatives within an ad set because I feel like Facebook just spends it unevenly. And I feel like that means it doesn't get quite a fair test. So I split them up, best winning audiences, and then split up the ad creatives into those audiences. So the type of content we were running in this ad account was short GIFs and short videos. It was literally just GIFs of the products, and the GIFs consisted of, the picture of the GIFs consisted of influencers wearing the product. So we had the best selling products, sent out to influencers, and then short GIFs. And these work predominantly well on Instagram. I'm seeing this typically with streetwear brands, is the fact that Instagram tends to be more aesthetic and tends to be where the buyers are. So yeah, basically the content was just basically influencers. We didn't actually use any carousels, they weren't working. And then in the primary text and stuff like that, normally I go the offer route. So maybe it's free shipping, maybe it's 10% discount. I don't like to use 10% discount at top of funnel. I tend to use something like free shipping. And then that linking directly to a collection. As I feel like the average order value tends to be higher when you directly link it to collection, because people look around your shop more, maybe add more to basket rather than straight to a product. So yeah, that's a little hack that I have found. So yeah, the content that's really working nowadays is just like the iPhone generated. The reason why that works, the user generated content, the reason why it works is because it builds instant trust with the customer. They understand how it looks through the iPhone. They get to know how it's going to fit by looking at it, because people take selfies and people are taking pictures in the mirror or taking pictures of themselves with an iPhone. So they understand how it fits through that. That's why user-generated content works, and the influencers wearing the pictures, taking iPhone standard pictures, is just a great way to go about it. And once I found an audience and a creative that worked, all I did was duplicate it and find a different audience for that creative, and then keep on doing that until you get a bit of scale. That's basically horizontal scaling. So once you found something that works, you move on to scaling it. And scaling over the years has got a lot easier on Facebook. What I personally do is either up the budget 20% on the ad set or duplicate it to a higher budget. So there's two reasons for that. So if you want to scale slowly on an ad set, and don't want to throw it out of optimization, what I would recommend is just increasing the budget on that ad set by 20% and see if it holds well, still gets purchases, still has the same return on ad spend, that type of thing. Otherwise, just duplicate it, leave that ad set and duplicate it to a higher budget and let that run. I've noticed that Facebook takes a little longer nowadays due to the iOS 14 update to actually have those purchases back in the ad account. So I leave my budgets a little bit longer now, maybe 72 hours, but yeah, as long as possible really, unless the soft metrics like the ad cards, initiate checkouts and that type of thing look awful, then cut it off. But yeah, so if you duplicate it and it holds well, or if you create it and it holds well, then I move on to my next phase of scaling, which is duplicating it to a CBO. And I teach you how so as you can see here, this is a CBO where we spend, I think 3,000, just under 10,000, 9,200 back. I will say it's underreported by an absolute mile. It's actually a lot higher than this. So yeah, so how I set up my CBOs. So those ad sets in the creative testing campaign, I take one of those ad sets and duplicate it 3 times within the CBO. This is because each ad set will perform different, as you can see here. They're exactly the same creative, exactly the same audience, but one's got a cost per purchase of 32 and 33, and one's got a cost per purchase of 39. Another reason why I do this is because in a CBO, you need to have the same audience size, otherwise Facebook will just give it to the biggest audience because they want to spend your money, that's all. So yeah, so if you have a good ad set, it's getting good return, I recommend just duplicating to a new campaign, duplicate that ad set 3 times and set it at a much higher budget. I think this one's at 150 or 120, and let it run for a couple of days. First couple of days, CBOs aren't amazing, but then they tend to gain momentum, gain optimization, and yeah, it's all good stuff. Now let's move on to retargeting. So what was I doing for retargeting? So in the retargeting, we spent 10,000 and made 35,000 back, which is great. So the majority of the retargeting, I was just using Instagram and Facebook engagement audiences. This is because retargeting has got a lot smaller since the update, and not so effective. But I will say, if you're going to retarget, what you can do, so you've got your people that have viewed your website, added to cart, that type of thing. I personally now stack them on top of each other, so put them all in one ad set, as this makes the audience size a lot bigger, and then run it like that. So yeah, guys, that was a little breakdown of how I scaled this ad account. I'm sure you'll be hearing more about this ad account and how we're planning to scale it to 7 figures. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got value out of it, and I'll see you in the next video.